Tom, Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you'd type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search from my site. Getting overly elaborate with this Postmates advanced training, and I actually have presentation planned, and one of the pictures I had the customer's name on it, and so I had to delete the Hangout and start again. Okay, so here's the first visual. Again, this is an advertisement for Uber. It sounds like it could very easily be an advertisement for Postmates. I am not advertising Postmates. I'm not trying to convince people to do this. What I am doing is people who have convinced themselves to try it are trying to make it easier. The job is mysteriously more difficult than it seems. So drive with Uber, no shifts, no boss, no limits. Sounds great. Well, no shifts is absolutely great, but how do you work the schedule, and what happens if you don't work your shift? And there's a lot of questions that I answer on my videos that I don't think Uber answers, or Postmates answers. Uh, I've kind of created my own answer with experience. I don't think that was given to me. No boss, you don't have no boss, no coworkers, no HR, no nobody. It's a lonely job. No limits. That's absolutely bullshit. Um, you have time limits. You have limits in the amount of money you can make, the amount of deliveries you can do in a day. It's a nice phrase, Uber. 100% false. So again, this sounds great, but the no boss is also no coworkers, also no HR, no supervisor, no anything. It's a lonely job. And in a lonely job, you got a few people that bark at you and think you're not great. And then you open up the first order of the day and it says, please present Postmates with a smile. Well, if I were feeling a little trace of self doubt, I would read this and say, oh, God, is this personal or is this a blanket post? This is inside the Postmates app. You know, the obvious question is this just for me? Because I pissed someone off? Maybe. I'm pretty sure it's not, by the way, but it's an example of how the lonely. I mean, if you had a coworker, you turn and say, "Hey, do you get this too?" And he or she says, "Yeah," and then you're like, "Everyone got it. I'm not worried." You don't have coworkers. Notices like this can be a little nerving. Next one. I went to get at my mailbox today. I have a bike key for a city bike, and so now I get to go directly to the bikes rather than to the uh, credit card machina. And because the the employees of the mailbox store where my bike key came in, I rent a mailbox there. My wife and I rent a mailbox there. They were they know what I'm doing with Postmates, and they had I go in about once a week or so. This most recent gap was at least that long, and they were curious. At one moment at the mailbox store, I had three young men questioning me about Postmates. They were sincerely curious. In addition to that, I've got click history reports saying that people are listening and not just clicking and then clicking off, but the minutes listened is accumulating at a rate that is remarkable for everything I've done in YouTube. So because of that, I'm trying to feed the curiosity. So here's my earnings from today. Lapin Quotidien is my second. So these two below, these are from a previous day, Saturday. So these are, oh, and there's the tip. I did get a tip. I got a tip on both of them. These were the same person, two different orders. I went, got this, took it to the person, then went and got this, took it to the same person. And she knew I was the same person. The app told her that you would expect Tom Duty again. So those are those jobs. These are both in the West Village, and how much I got paid. And then here's the other remaining 3, 4, 5 jobs, and that's all I did today. I did 5, 6, 7 deliveries. On Saturday I did 10. A portion of my time today was taken by some stuff. I had to do something at FedEx Kinko's. I had some work at home stuff I had to finish. So my day was cut down to about, well, I won't say how long. Listeners, you can do that yourself. You can see when I job assignment, see how much I got paid, how many jobs, so on. Finally, the last thing I'll do in this hangout is listeners, Google search Tom Duty. I'll do it as if Google search Tom Duty and find Tom Duty. This is my website, Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey. And I hate doing it this way because my website is .ws and it's slow. Fortunately, I don't do very much with it, so it works. So here's my blog. And then right here, today's city bike trips. I would click here. Here are my city bike trips. And hopefully that's, yeah, and here it is. This is a different blog. When I post text that is personal to me, but not text that I wrote, I put it in a separate blog called Reference. So here are my bike rides today. City Bike has this on their website. So listeners, curiosity is high. If you want to imagine what a day is with Postmates, you can literally G-map this thing. You look at the restaurants. You look at the restaurants that I went to. Obviously, it doesn't have the address, but if you know New York City and Google cooperates, there is only one Hamdi. Obviously, there's many Starbucks. And so this doesn't really give you all the information you need to Google Map what a day is like with Postmates. However, combined with this, now you can see my bike stops, and then you can piece this together to see how far I traveled and to see how far the restaurants are apart and that sort of thing. Today was like symphony. Easy. I carried nothing heavier than I don't want to understate this. Okay, this was a typical dinner, but no beverage. This was two lattes. Donut Plant was like a few donuts. The Blue Bottle Cafe was a 10-ounce latte. Liquiteria was a couple of bottles, probably 20 ounces of beverage total, maybe more, not a lot more. And then La Pan Quotidienne was two, Starbucks would call them venti latte, two 20-ounce coffee drinks. And then this was a breakfast. It was like scrambled eggs or something. Easy, easy, easy. I didn't carry anything heavier than the two lattes was probably the heaviest. So that's 40 ounces. And, so we're talking about 4 pounds. 4 pounds was my 4 pounds? 3 pounds was my heaviest job today. Slacker day. It was just great. Easy. Fun to be in the city. And again, here are my bike trips provided by city. And here's the city bike key. This thing I pay $14 a month for this. I have one key. I've made a 12-month commitment to renew and pay $14 each month. I think it's 14. It's close to that. And this allows me to go directly to the bike instead of the card swiping thing. So of course, City Bike is only in New York City. And I don't think many Postmates people are using the bikes haven't seen anyone doing what I'm doing, but it's a nice solution. I've seen people on scooters, on skateboards, walking, and then of course cars and bikes. This has been Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search from my site. Thank you for listening. Have a good day, good evening, a restful night's sleep. Ciao.